What's it like to be a Bond girl? Come on inside the stables at Saratoga and we'll unbridle the big gun himself, James Bond. I'm Susan Kayne. You're watching Unbridled. Unbridled is brought to you by the best kept secret in horse care, Suncoast Bedding. For the finest and purest pine shavings, visit Suncoast online at www.suncoastbedding.com. James, you've had a very successful career, enjoyed many victories at Saratoga, highlighted, I remember, by Will's Way win in the Travers. What does it mean to you to win at Saratoga?
It's just the greatest thing in the world. For all owners, trainers, jockeys, employees, it's the greatest thing. There's just nothing quite like it. I think it's the nostalgia of Saratoga. I've been fortunate enough to run in Dubai, I've been basically all over North America, and without exaggeration, there's just nothing like Saratoga. It's just the prestige, the kings and queens and horses that have run here are second to none.
You came originally from the western part of New York.
Finger Lakes.
Tell us a little bit about your climb to success from Victor, New York to traveling the world with winning racehorses.
Well, I was very fortunate. I have a show horse background, but I had great clientele that gave me the horses and the chance. And like I said, we were average successful at Finger Lakes, but we just kept showing up with a little bit better horses. And then the clients gave me a break and let me try New York, and the rest has been history. And we've been just great clientele to give you chances.
Was there a point in which you came to the bigger New York circuit that was really a turning point for you?
Well, look, there's a horse I trained. It was a New York bred many years ago for Virginia Craft Payson. His name was Le Carriere, and he was a great ticket because he was second to the Mighty Cigar back in I think it was '95, and then the following year we went to Dubai, and that was the first year that they had the big races over there, and that was the richest race in the world. And actually, in America ran 1, 2, 3. The winner was Cigar, Soul the Matter was second, and Le Carriere was third. And that really kind of, put our name out there that, we could train a couple of horses.
When horses come into your barn, is there a time that you can really tell that this is a special one? Because it seems like you have quite an array of horses.
We have clientele that let us go to the sales and, pick out some, pretty nice horses. Probably I'm more noted for older horses. I like 3- and 4-year-olds. I'm not really a 2-year-old fanatic. I think that would probably be my forte. Grass or dirt, okay, it's pretty, it doesn't really matter to me. But I think that's probably where I stand. And then I have a couple of great breeders in New York. It's Stallion Park, James Edward, who's been with us over 15 years. Has been leading breeder, I think, 6 out of the last 12 years. And, with people giving you stock and allowing you to go to the sales and buy horses, you can have pretty horses, I guess you would say.
When you go to the sales and you select horses, being that you're not a 2-year-old fanatic, do you find that you're able to get a little better buy on a horse because he'll develop a little bit later instead of immediately? And do you seek that out for value for your clients?
I do. Unfortunately, it costs usually the client another 6 months to a year, but you can get an individual that that's not going to start till probably the fall of his 2-year-old year or spring of his 3-year-old year. But the longevity is there because a lot of the 2-year-olds that we see that are kind of pushed early aren't around the beginning of their 3-year-old year. So, and there's a lot of money in the 3-year-old and the older division, as we all know. There's so many $1 million races today. You can put them on a plane or a van and get there and race for $750,000 to $1 million just about every other weekend now.
In your opinion, if a horse is sound of body and mind, can they race long beyond that 3-year-old year? I mean, they seem to be retiring right and left as soon as they have a big victory.
Unfortunately, times have changed and the careers have shortened. We had a horse named Pleasant Breeze that is now our stable pony. And he raced to the ripe age of 8 years old and was just a tremendous racehorse. One of the top, probably grade 2, grade 3 horses. And my father actually had a horse named Sagely that won 56 or 57 races. His last win was at 14 years of age. So, yes, they can.
Oh, 14 must be about mandatory.
I tell you, he was on Social Security Plus.
Well, there are a lot of owners that, or prospective owners, they get into the game because they love it, not because they're in it to, make money per se or get that 2-year-old out there. What advice would you have to new owners looking to get involved in racing?
First of all, you know, it's a great sport. It's a very expensive sport, okay? But if you love the horses and you really want to have the excitement of a lifetime. I've been lucky enough to train for some people that are very wealthy and probably could buy most vacations and a lot of toys, I guess you would say, in life. To see them jump up and down, that thrill, okay, of watching either one of their homebreds, a horse that they purchased, it's the biggest thrill in the world. I mean, they're like little kids again. That's all I can tell you. And you know, I've been so fortunate to be a part of some of my great clients to see them so excited, and you know, they've thanked me 20 years later, you know, for the excitement that we gave them. And you know, their horses are the one that did it. We were just a small part, and like I say, we're pretty lucky.
Of all of the wins that you've had, is there one that is the most special, and if so, why?
Will's Way probably is, without exaggeration, the best, because first of all, it was a Travers. It was in Saratoga. I've been here well over 17 years now, and the people that I won it for have been with me over, I think, 28 years. Okay, the Red Line Stable, Mr. and Mrs. Rudder, and Mr. Clifton. But Mr. and Mrs. Rudder were the people that really gave me my chance. Okay, at Finger Lakes, they were with me, and you know, they're the greatest.
Throughout your career, who has influenced you the most, and why?
Mr. and Mrs. Rudder were very, very big. Mr. Rudder was very good in business, and unfortunately, I think a lot of trainers, okay, tend not to. They lead with their heart and not in a business sense, and you have to have both. So Mr. Rudder was always very, you know, influential. That you've got to watch your books and do this, do that, and you know, and it's really helped me. Because I think I do a better job, because I'm not worried about the business sense. I'm worried about training horses, and it's a fine line, because there are some days that it's very frustrating, and the bills keep coming in it's just like the rest of the world.
And the horses keep eating.
And the horses keep eating. We can't shut them down on Saturday and Sunday and say we're going to lay everybody off because we had a bad month. So it can be a little frustrating, but. Like I say, Mr. Rudder has been very, very influential, and Mrs. Payson, you know, she told me a long time ago, Virginia Craft Payson, that management is everything, and it really is. You know, it's from shipping the horses to the right farm that you put them on. It's much bigger than we think. There is a percentage of luck in all things, but I think you can control some of your destiny by great management. And you know, there's some of our better trainers out there are great managers. The people don't realize the time and effort behind the scenes that people don't see. And you know, it's just safety issues, just little things that you know, make a difference.
On that note, what advice would you give young men and women who look to you as a role model, would like to be successful trainers, have a beautiful yard like this in the future? Probably
the greatest thing that I have learned in this game, and from people like Mr. Jerkins and people like that are great horsemen, Bill Mott, okay, is patience. You have to have patience, okay? The horse will tell you, if you listen, okay, what to do, okay? They don't all have the ability of, you know, the Tour de France and things like that to do the, you know, the big races, but basically they all try to a degree. And I think if you can keep them happy, okay, it's basically like a person's everyday job, okay? If you're happy, you're going to work very hard, okay? If you're not happy, you just want to get out of there, in the same way with a horse. So if you can keep them happy, the rest of it is probably pretty basic. Anybody can train a horse, but you know, to get inside their head and give them the will and desire. They were born with the will to run. I think we take it out of them sometimes, and we need to make sure that they're happy so that they want to run and perform.
What are some of the things that you do in your yard to keep your horses happy? They all look just delightful and peaceful and relaxed. Nobody's got ears back. They're not weaving. What's your secret?
Well, I have a huge advantage of having this yard, because it's not on the racetrack ground, so it's a little more of a farm atmosphere. And I think that's kind of like, you know, getting back to nature a little bit. We have a couple turnout pens. A lot of these horses go out for like an hour a day and just kind of get out in the sunshine, and they're not having a human being kind of hold them, and you know, they can stretch, they can lay down and kind of be a horse or a kid again.
If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
Basically for everyone in the world to be as lucky as I am to do the job that I get to. I have the great pleasure of getting up every morning to be with these animals, and you know, everybody should be as lucky as I am.